This photo here is of Father Torrend, who founded Kasisi, just a few miles away from here, and he would have been the first Catholic missionary in this part of Zambia. A great linguist and a man who did a tremendous amount of work for the culture of his people. He loved their language and preserved the cultural tradition in doing so, that we today now can look back over the past and understand the basis of some of our languages because of the work that he did.
Okay. Father Eddie Murphy, please share with us anything about this book. Yeah, this book.
Comparative Grammar of the South African Bantu Languages.
Okay.
Published in 1891.
Okay.
So what was extraordinary was that this was the Father Torrend in Chikuni, in Kasisi, who founded Kasisi.
Yes.
But he wrote this book before he was a priest, while he was still a student.
Okay.
And he did some of his work as a student in South Africa.
Okay.
And then he went back to finish his studies to be ordained a priest, and he wrote the book.
Okay. So he was what you would call a Jesuit scholastic.
So he was a Jesuit scholastic.
At the time.
And when he wrote that book,
Yes.
he was offered the professorship of the chair of Swahili studies in Berlin University in Germany.
Oh.
He wasn't interested in a university. He wanted to evangelize, and he headed back to Africa again. He went to Mozambique, and then he joined Father Moreau and came up to Zambia here. So quite an extraordinary achievement.
Yeah.
He was a great linguist.
Yeah. So this was by Father Torrend. I know at Canisius we had a number of hostels. We had Monze, we had Moreau, we had Constantine.
Yeah.
So I suspect that my brothers from Torrend will be smiling because they'll see this book.
Same name. Yeah. He had a little soundbite. He said, the country was hot and the people didn't work too much, and the soil was poor, but the languages are beautiful. So it was the language that really gripped him.
Yeah.
And he spent his life collecting. So the way that we write Tonga today, the actual style of writing with the letters, is what he was largely responsible for because of his work on the Tonga language.
Okay. So there we are. Father Torrend did a lot. So he was in Chikuni a bit with Father Moreau and then set off to start what we call Kasisi Mission.
He started Kasisi Mission, and then at the latter part of his life, he was reassigned back down to Chikuni, where he did a lot of his Tonga work.
Okay, so you can see.
But it's just one aspect of a missionary's life involved in the language and the culture of the people among whom they work. Yeah. And often that provides a very valuable source of preserving the traditional wisdom.
Okay.
So while Torrend worked on his grammar, Moreau had brought in the plough. So a good combination between the two of them to feed the mind and to feed the body.
So that is very important. So Father Eddie Murphy has just mentioned two issues. I think this is why in the Society of Jesus we appreciate that all of us have different backgrounds and all of us are involved in different skills. I may be a lay collaborator, for example, but what I bring in may be something unique to the province. A Jesuit may be from Ireland, a Jesuit may be from the US, but all of them together, they make the Society of Jesus what it